Hi, it's Mark from Top Local. We're here with Bernie Pawlik, Pawlik Automotive in Vancouver, 38 years of servicing and repairing vehicles in the Vancouver, BC area, and 18-time winners of Best Auto Repair in Vancouver, 18 times, voted by their customers as the best in Vancouver. How you doing, Bernie?
Doing very well.
So we're going to talk about a 2003 Audi A4 brake flex hose replacement. What was going on with this Audi?
Well, this vehicle came to our shop with a few concerns. Did an inspection on the vehicle, and one of the things we found was for lack of a better term, a very pregnant brake hose. And I'll just get right into pictures because that'll be the best way to show you what's going on with this vehicle. So there's just a quick view of the 03 A4 and that we serviced, and we'll just get into the brake hose, which is right here. Okay, so there's our Audi A4 03 that we serviced, and there is the brake hose. So this is the front left corner of the vehicle. You can see the McPherson strut here, and that red arrow points to, as I said, a very pregnant brake hose. There's a big, humongous bulge in this brake hose. Shouldn't be there. You can see the rubber, very continuous piece. Actually, interesting, I didn't even notice this on the vehicle, but there's a very slight bulge here too, which is also a problem as well. But this was the major issue on this hose, and warranted immediate replacement.
So I'm going to assume that this didn't occur in the normal way that pregnancy occurred. What would cause this to happen?
No, it didn't. So a brake hose, I'll just keep looking at this picture. A brake hose is basically a multi-layered rubber. It's got rubber, it's got fibers, it's got cords that run through the hose in different directions. It's a very strong hose. This hose, it'll handle at least 5,000 psi pressure, which a brake system will undergo in a very high panic stop. And I've seen, actually tested with a gauge, over 4,000 psi, and there's probably some that put out even more. So this hose has to hold a lot of pressure. Now, what likely happened with this hose is it probably developed a pinhole somewhere, like the rubber deteriorated somehow, developed a pinhole, and the outer jacket of the hose is actually filled with brake fluid. So I mean, this is a pretty serious condition. And as I mentioned, this other bulge here, which we didn't even really notice, at least I didn't when I took the picture, is also a serious condition. I mean, there's a deterioration there as well. So this hose is basically rotting itself from the inside out.
So what would happen if the hose was left unrepaired?
Basically, it would just blow, and so and at the worst, usually these kind of things can often happen at the worst of times. You'd be driving down the road, you hit the brake in a panic stop, a pedestrian runs out in front of you, you nail the brake hard, the hose just goes boom, and of course your brake pedal drops to the floor. Now, a modern vehicle, you won't lose all of your brakes, but you're going to lose at least half your braking ability at a time when you don't want it to happen. So anything like a cracked brake hose, a deteriorated brake hose, it's a serious issue. You need to fix that.
And any other problems that happen with brake flex hoses?
Well, the other thing that happens a lot is they'll crack. The rubber will crack. That's probably the most common issue we find with them. Is when you look at the hose, especially where it meets the metal crimpings at the end, it'll usually start developing cracks, and that's a good sign that, hey, this hose is wearing out. It's time to replace it. The other issue that happens with brake hoses that we see from time to time is they'll actually develop an internal blockage. And so sometimes if you have a vehicle that's, say, pulling to the left or right when you hit the brake, that could be a front brake hose that's plugged. A lot of times it's a caliper that's seized, but it can also be a brake hose that's plugged. Or if you go to bleed the brakes or flush the brake fluid, and there's absolutely no flow of brake fluid, it can be due to a blocked brake hose. So that happens from time to time. More common is these leaky hoses or cracks are the most common. Second would be these bulges, and third would be the blockage.
So I'm going to assume this isn't just an Audi problem.
No, it happens on all cars. They're all hoses are made from more or less the same materials and designs. So it happens on all vehicles.
And is there any correlation between how much somebody's, if you're driving really fast a lot and hitting the brakes a lot, is it going to wear your brake hoses out faster?
Really good question. I would say not. Really, they're just a kind of part that wears over time, and not really so much with brake usage. I don't really, I've never really thought of, brake hose and any preventative maintenance to say, really probably the biggest killer might well be road salt, because it deteriorates the metal, crimps on the ends. But overall, they just wear, and they wear out when they do. You can't really wreck them.
And that's a regular check item when you guys do maintenance on any car.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Whenever we do a maintenance service inspection, like in our shop, a B service inspection, which is a full inspection, or brake inspection, we always look at the hoses very thoroughly. Something you should do, after a car's a few years old. I mean, every year you should have that kind of level of things inspected, because it could be good this year, and next year it's got a hole in it, or even 6 months down the road things develop. So that's why it's important to have your vehicle inspected annually.
So you work on a lot of Audis, and how are A4s for reliability?
Yeah, they're pretty good. As I often say, I probably sound like a broken record, most European cars, more things tend to go wrong. They cost a little more money to fix and maintain, but overall they're quite good vehicles. And you get a nicer ride than your average car. So yeah, they're quite good.
So there you go. If you're looking for service for your Audi in Vancouver, the guys to see are Pawlik Automotive. You can reach them at 604-327-7112 to book your appointment. Check out their website, pawlikautomotive.com. We've got 5+ years of videos, and now we're adding podcasts to the mix. Thanks, Bernie.
You're welcome, Mark. Thanks.